Hi friends, welcome to Creatively Montessori. Today I'm going to show you a lesson on blue and yellow macaw 3-part cards. I'm actually doing this as part of a summer pirate unit, but I was also thinking this would be great to do with a unit on the rainforest if you're doing cultural studies about the rainforest. This is really 3-part cards for parts of a bird, and this one just happens to be a very specific bird, but they would be done the same way. I'm going to initially show you how I would present a lesson in primary, so 3 to 6-year-olds. There are a lot of blue and yellow macaw cards. So if I was doing this with a young class, or if I was doing this with maybe somebody who hadn't done this before, I would probably eliminate some of the cards. When I'm presenting this lesson, I'm sitting on the right, like I'm sitting on this side of the rug, and the child is sitting on this side of the rug, over here where we can all see it clearly, if the child's right-handed. If they're left-handed, you do the opposite. So when I initially lay out the cards, I'm talking to you, tell you what I'm doing, but when you initially lay out the card, you wouldn't say anything. You would be basically quiet, so they can pay attention to what you're doing. You won't be able to see what I'm doing because you're looking at the rug, but when I get the first card to match it, I'm going to nod my head yes or shake my head no. So that one I would nod my head yes. On that one I nodded my head no, shook my head yes. I don't want to say no, 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 because it's not our goal in Montessori, right? I don't want them to hear no that many times. When I do this matching, again, I'm going left to right, top to bottom, to always reinforce reading and writing skills. These cards I got from, oh, see, I missed it. Sometimes I do that when I'm doing a lesson. I got from the Teachers Pay Teachers website, and they are a really nice quality. She did a really good job making them, so I'll link that in the comments section. You get them via email after you pay for them, and they were only a few dollars. They were a completely reasonable price. And then you print them. I print them on glossy cardstock. If you use glossy cardstock, it's basically photo paper, and so then you get these really nice, vibrant colors. If you print them on flat cardstock, just plain cardstock, the problem is that you end up with, it's just flat. The color kind of gets absorbed into the paper. There's so many cards here, it's hard to fit them all into my rug. So this, again, is going to be a long lesson because there are so many cards. So when you're working with primary children that aren't readers yet, you put the control card out first, and then you match the picture and then the words. The other way that you could do this if you wanted is put the control card out, have them lay it right on top, and have it lay right on top. So that's an alternative if you would prefer to do that. In primary, well, for 3 to 6-year-olds, this is what we would do, right? For elementary age children, you do the opposite. For elementary age children, you do the picture first. So it would look like this. You would do the picture first, match the word to it, and you do that. You do all the pictures, all the words, and then lastly, you do the control chart to show that they're right. A simplified version of this you could do with toddlers. And again, I would never do this many, I shouldn't say never. It would be unusual for me to do this many cards with toddlers because it is 12 cards and that's a lot. So I would eliminate it, or I would do them half and half. Like maybe I would put 6 out and the next week I might do the other 6, or, you know, something like that. So now you've laid them all out. So that really initially it's just a matching activity. So although this is cultural work, I also put this in, this is like, I don't put it in the language area of the classroom, but they're doing similar matching cards in language, which helps them with their visual discrimination because the eyes and the nostril are so subtle, like it's a tiny little dot. So they have to really be detailed to see that. That's true for a lot, like the legs, like the yellow is highlighted, but so are the feet. And so on this one, it's just the feet. So there are a lot of them that like, it's really subtle nuances. And so to do this work successfully, you want them to have practiced the language work that is picture to picture matching, object to object matching, picture to picture matching, picture to object matching, so that they are really good at doing this visual discrimination that you need for this. So you have it all laid out. The child can work on this, and then with your initial lesson, this is usually a follow-up lesson. Ideally, in a truly 100% Montessori way, you would get a bird. You would have access to a bird, or you would go to the pet store, the zoo, and you would look at a real bird and you would talk about the parts of the bird. You can get a diagram of a bird, but this is the equivalent to a diagram or a picture of it. And so this is a blue and yellow macaw, and I would tell the children, where does that animal live? Where would I find that animal? This part of the bird is the bird's head. These are the bird's wings. And the child might say this with you as you're giving the lesson, that's fine. These are the legs, the eyes, and these are the bird's tail feathers. Then again, if you're only doing the first 6, then you can do the 3-period lesson. You've already introduced the vocabulary. With the child, I would say, this is the head. These are the wings. Show me the wings. They would point to the wings. These are the wings. This is the head. Show me the head. And so, initially they can just lay it out and practice it. Next step would be you could do the 3-period lesson, which is the first period is introducing the word. The second period is the practice. And the third period is the assessment, where you want to see if they've mastered it. So you've practiced all of those. Another extension is that you can give them a blank, like a blank bird, just like the original that doesn't have any coloring on it. And they can color it how they would like. I don't, quite frankly, make them color it like this one is. If they want to, they certainly can. And then they can label it. So with with one picture, they would label that these are the wings, and this is the head, and this is the beak, and these are the feet, and these are the tail feathers. That, again, is difficult for a young 3 to 5-year-old child if they aren't writing yet. So that part, sometimes they want to color it, and then I would write them in as they tell me, these are the ear coverts, this is the torso. So that's kind of something else you do. In elementary, when they do the 3-part cards, there's usually research that is followed up. So if you want to extend this into language, you could have them use these words, parts of a bird, in sentences. They could do research on the blue and yellow macaw, where it lives, right? So its habitat, how many of them there are. So they do the research skills, and then they can do kind of facts or information about it. You could also do it as a creative writing activity. Maybe, well, I was thinking about something as a magical part. That's not really super Montessori for it to be magical, but, and then once they get to upper elementary, even like those 3rd graders, like 8, 9, 10-year-olds, you actually, after you've learned the external parts of an animal, you actually then go to internal parts of an animal and how those function. So parts of a bird, parts of, in this case, a blue and yellow macaw are all part of the cultural area of the classroom, and they are part of zoology animals. So when we pick them up, I pick them up and I just hold them in my hand. Oftentimes I show the children just to lay them over here, but I pick them up with my dominant hand. I'm intentionally keeping the cover on the top. The first set I do just want to put just in order because it's easiest and you can. I'm going to put those down. Now, the second ones I pick up, I will pick up just the top one so that they're matching on the tray, and then I'm going to intentionally mix them up. I do not want to put them in the same order, and I tell the children that that's because we want it to be ready for the next friend. But we don't want it to be in order because that's a little bit on the boring side. Same thing, I'm going to pick this card up first because it matches, and then I will do them randomly. So after I print these out on cardstock, glossy cardstock, I cut them. After I cut them, I laminate them with the thickest lamination I can get, and then I cut them again. So this is blue and yellow macaw, parts of a bird, cultural subject in a Montessori environment. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If there are no other parts of 3-part cards you'd like to see, or other lessons you would like me to do, let me know in the comments section. Hope to see you again.